Transform your hair with hair growth products by 12 tribes on Earth. Experience natural, powerful ingredients that promote thicker, longer, and healthier hair. Say goodbye to thinning and hello to confidence. Hair growth oil, shampoo, spray, and butter by 12 tribes on Earth because your hair deserves the best. Just look for the links in the comments section.
Most heat wave fatalities occur when people are indoors. So, y'all, heat waves we know can kill people. The cold can kill you too, but the heat wave, yes. It's important this time of the year that people are prepared because the heat waves, they come every single year. Heat waves in the US kill more people in their homes than anywhere else. I believe that. In July of 1999, during Cincinnati's worst heat wave in recent history, paramedics rushed a man to the hospital after a neighbor found him unresponsive in an attic apartment with no air conditioning. It was too late. Doctors declared him dead at the hospital with a body temperature of 108 degrees. Oh, yeah, yeah. There's no way he would have lived through that. So, the cause of death was brain injury caused by a heat stroke. The Cincinnati man, where most people do during heat waves, they stay in, especially if they have some sort of air conditioning. People will tend to stay in more if they can. So, in the quarter century since his death, thousands more across the US have suffered similar fates during the heat wave, like the one we're going through right now. The heat wave that we are going through right now is hitting 27 states in the US, 250 million people. And, they're pretty much saying these deaths are preventable. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, yet they continue to happen because those most at risk are unable to get the help they need. Almost half, the 3,142 people that died from heat related ailments in the past 20 years, they all died at home. They did not die doing jobs outside. They died at home. Many people who die in heat wave, it's usually a lack of air conditioning or they already have a precondition that becomes deadly during a heat wave. When the weather gets this extreme, there is a risk. So here's what the numbers tell us. All right. Unhoused people are especially vulnerable to heat related deaths due to their health issues and limited access to cooling centers. And in the past few years, an analysis found that there has been a surge overall in the number of people dying outdoors during heat waves. But over the past 2 decades, 43% of the people who died at a known location died in their homes, making it the most common location for heat related deaths. Outside locations, such as a campground or a bald field, or they were the second most common, making up 41% of the deaths. Deaths in cars and other vehicles were next at 12%, mobile homes 2.5%. Why do people die so often in their homes? A lot of times it's a lack of air conditioning. Most of us take for granted that we live and work in air conditioned environments, but we have a lot of members in our community that do not have air conditioning at all. Social isolation may also play a role in heat related deaths because those living alone may not have anyone to check on them. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I remember when we were growing up in Philly, there were a few elderly people on the street, but people would just go to their house and make sure they were okay, you know? And it was not unusual when it got too hot because those row homes, they're like a brick oven. A lot of times people would sleep on their front porch, especially if they had no air conditioning. They would just sleep on the front porch. More common than uncommon. So they're saying, a lot of people that are socially isolated are among people over 80 years old. And summertime is a rough time. That's why a lot of times, when I was coming up, they would even have like commercials that would pop on TV telling people to check on their elders and pets during the heat wave. Social isolation may be especially dangerous for those with disabilities or mobility restrictions. Especially if they rely on others in their home. Maybe they use a walker or cane or wheelchair, or maybe their caregivers are not available. They might not be available to get out to the house. So, according to the CDC, hotter temperatures raise the risk of heat exhaustion, dehydration, and breathing problems. And those with disability and chronic health conditions, it can be especially hard. Other risk factors, heat related deaths or injuries, include low income, being under the age of 5 or over the age of 65. Heat deaths. The rates also vary when it comes down to race. So, non Hispanic Native Americans had the highest rate of heat related deaths in the country, followed by non Hispanic, and they got to throw us in everything. Black Americans, you know how it is, y'all. They got to throw us in everything at all cost. If somebody gets sick worse than anyone else, they gonna throw us in there. If somebody stubbed their toe, they're gonna get on here and say Black Americans stubbed their toes more than anyone else. You know how these folks are. Though scientists say most heat related deaths are preventable, they only caution that the true impact of heat on Americans' health may be underestimated. They say that because there are other causes of death, such as cardiac arrest and stroke, often attributed to heat, unless it's obviously, was a factor. So, according to the CDC, for example, estimates the number of heat related deaths over the past 20 years was 10,500, more than 3 times higher than the National Weather Service estimates. Some scientists are saying the number is much higher than that. Yeah, I mean, I believe that because that's one thing about America. America will lowball numbers in a minute. I believe it is higher. So, y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. And it is important. Stay hydrated. I've been drinking and sipping on water all throughout the past few days. I have stepped up. Now, I normally drink a lot of water, but I really stepped it up during the heat wave, especially those moments where I had to go out. I made sure I was well hydrated. That is important, not only for adults, but for children too. And if it gets too hot, most people got sense enough to know they got to bring their pets indoors. But y'all, tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.